True crime, no bull. Bullies. We're back. Crime Bowl Podcast with Bill and Jill. How's it hanging, Jill?
Hey, Bill. Ready to dive into another one?
Always. And today we're going to Victoria, British Columbia. We're looking into the unsolved murder of Lindsay Buziak. She was a young real estate agent, and this was back in 2009.
This case is interesting, you know. It's really gripped investigators and the whole community for over a decade now. Lots of twists and turns. Could be a movie, really.
Yeah, for sure. Lindsay was a rising star, worked for Remax Camison. People said she had a really great personality.
Not just that, really dedicated to her clients, too. Close with her family. Her dad, especially, Jeff. That's part of what makes this so tragic, you know, losing someone like that.
Absolutely. And it all started with a weird phone call just a few days before the murder. A woman with a foreign accent said she wanted to see $1 million property. But here's the thing. She wanted to see it that weekend, and she asked for Lindsay specifically, even described the property she was looking for.
See, that's where it gets strange. High-end real estate. Doesn't usually work that way. The details, asking for a specific agent, something's not adding up.
Yeah, like they were setting something up.
Yeah.
So February 2nd, 2009, it was evening. Lindsay went to this house on D'Souza Place for the showing.
D'Souza Place, yeah. Quiet, expensive neighborhood. You wouldn't think something like that would happen there. But there were witnesses. They saw a well-dressed couple right after Lindsay. Fit the description of the buyers Lindsay was supposed to meet.
And then they just disappeared.
Like ghosts, nobody knew who they were. Descriptions were vague, so not much for investigators to go on.
So, mysterious couple. Sounds like the people from that phone call. What?
Well, Lindsay was attacked, stabbed, minutes after going into the house. Her boyfriend, Jason Zalo, and a friend, they got worried. Lindsay wasn't answering her phone. They went to check on her at the house.
Oh, no.
It's awful. They found Lindsay's body, upstairs bedroom, no signs of a struggle or anything, and nothing was stolen.
So it wasn't a robbery then, maybe something personal.
It's a tough one. No clear motive. Just makes the whole thing even weirder.
Let's talk about that phone call again. What about the phone they used?
Burner phone. Police found out it was bought months before in Vancouver, activated just a few days before the murder, fake name too, and then tossed out. Definitely planned this out.
Chilling. They went to so much trouble just to get to Lindsay. This wasn't random at all.
Nope. This was planned, cold. They knew what they were doing. Probably not their first time either.
Starting to sound like a true crime novel. Mysterious couple. Burner phone.
Yeah.
Young, successful real estate agent. Murdered. Wow.
Definitely a lot to take in. Well, first thing investigators looked at was Lindsay's personal life. Her boyfriend, Jason Zalo. He was one of the first people at the scene, so naturally he's a person of interest.
Can you explain what that means, person of interest?
Yeah.
Just for anyone who isn't familiar with that term.
Sure. Doesn't mean they're guilty. It just means they're connected to the case somehow. Might have information. Could be a witness, someone who knew the victim, or someone who was in the area at the time. Doesn't mean they did it.
Okay, that makes sense. So what happened with Jason?
Police looked into everything. Confirmed his alibi and everything. No evidence connected him to the crime. He was cleared officially, but people didn't necessarily believe it.
Yeah, I get that. Even if the police clear you, it's not easy to deal with all that public attention.
Definitely. People kept talking about him and his family, the Zalos. They're pretty well known in the Victoria real estate world.
Yeah.
Even if you're proven innocent, public opinion can be a whole other thing.
Good reminder to be careful about jumping to conclusions. Stick to the facts. Right. So, if it wasn't Jason, who was it? What are some of the other theories they looked at?
Let's get into that. So we've got this planned murder, right? And nobody knows who did it. No motive. It's like a puzzle, but half the pieces are gone.
Yeah, it's got to be tough. For the investigators, for Lindsay's family and friends, where do you even start with something like this?
Well, investigators, they looked at Lindsay's work first, real estate agent, right? Was there something there that made her a target?
Makes sense. I mean, she was killed going to a showing, maybe a deal gone bad, a client with a grudge or something.
Real estate, it can be a tough business. Lots of money involved. Disputes, commissions, even illegal stuff. Maybe she made an enemy without even realizing it.
That's a scary thought. Someone she worked with holding a grudge like that? Did they find anything specific, any incidents?
No, nothing specific really came up, but the police did look into her clients, her past deals, trying to find any problems, anything that stood out.
That's got to be hard, like finding a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, exactly. And since they didn't have much to go on, they looked at other things too, like maybe a connection to drugs,
Things get a little more complicated there.
Right. There were these rumors that Lindsay knew some people involved with
Did
drugs.
this police ever find anything to prove that?
They looked into it, Lindsay's friends, any connections she might have had, but nothing solid, and the police never said publicly that she was involved with any kind of organized crime.
So it's just a theory then. And not a good one either. Scary to think she could have been mixed up with dangerous people without knowing.
It is, and it shows, sometimes regular people get caught up in bad things. It can happen to anyone.
For sure. Even in safe places, bad things can happen.
Absolutely, and it's sad, but even after all these years, they haven't solved Lindsay's murder, all the investigating, the interviews, even a reward. Nothing.
That's got to be so hard on her family and friends. Not knowing, not having any closure.
Yeah, not knowing is tough, and the way she died, it makes it even worse. But Lindsay's father, Jeff Buziak, he's been amazing. He never stopped trying to find her killers.
He seems like a strong person, turning all that grief into action.
He really is. He didn't let it break him. He became an advocate, speaking up for Lindsay, for other families in the same situation.
It's really inspiring. He's kept her story alive.
That's so important. People need to keep talking about these cases. Remind everyone that there's still a chance to get answers. Someone out there might know something. Maybe they're just afraid to talk.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe one little detail, something that seemed unimportant, could be what they need to solve it.
Exactly. It's never too late for justice. Maybe someone will come forward now. Maybe they can't keep quiet anymore. Or maybe there'll be new evidence. Technology's always changing.
That's true. We've seen cases solved after years. With DNA and stuff like that, there's always hope.
The Saanich Police Department, they've said they think the killers are still around, maybe living in the area. They haven't given up. We shouldn't either.
Lindsay's case is a reminder. Bad things can happen anywhere, even in a nice, quiet place. It's got people thinking, trying to figure it out, hoping for answers.
And even though we might never know everything, we can still remember Lindsay. Support her family. Keep looking for the truth. She deserves that.
It's a sad story. Makes you think, Makes you want to appreciate what you have. Be careful.
It does. We can't just assume we're safe. Even in the suburbs, there are stories everywhere, mysteries that might never be solved.
Lindsay's story, it's one of those mysteries. Maybe we'll never have all the answers, but we should keep looking, keep hoping for justice. It's hard to imagine not knowing, all those questions every day.
Yeah, it's a heavy weight. And for Lindsay's family and friends, well, the way she died, it just makes it worse.
For father, Jeff Buziak, he's been through so much, but he hasn't given up.
He's incredible, turning grief into action, He's an advocate, not just for Lindsay, but for other families, too.
Keeping her story out there, it's inspiring.
It is. It's so important to keep these cases alive, keep people talking, keep reminding them. Someone might have that one piece of information that changes everything.
Right. Sometimes it's the smallest thing that can make a difference, something that seemed unimportant at the time.
Absolutely. It's never too late. Maybe someone will find the courage to speak up now. Maybe they can't stay silent anymore. Or maybe technology will help. New evidence. Who knows?
You're right. There's DNA and all that. Cold cases get solved all the time. We can't lose hope.
The police, they still think the killers are out there. Living their lives, probably. It's unbelievable.
Lindsay's story, it's a wake-up call. We can't just assume we're safe, even in places that seem safe.
Right.
Be aware, Pay attention.
Yeah. There's darkness everywhere. And sometimes the mysteries never get solved.
Lindsay's case, it's one of those mysteries. Maybe we won't get all the answers, but we have to keep trying. Justice for Lindsay. That's what matters.
Exactly.
Well, that's heavy stuff.
It is.
But important to talk about.
Definitely.
Thanks for walking us through all that.
Of course.
And to everyone listening, if you know anything at all about Lindsay's case, please contact the Saanich Police Department.
Even if it seems small, it could be what they need. It could bring Lindsay's family some peace, finally. And maybe, just maybe, those responsible will finally face justice.
Let's hope so. For Lindsay and for everyone who loved her, true crime, no bull.